Hello, viewers, and welcome to episode number 4 of What Are We Doing? This week, we're going to sit down and talk to Conor Ferguson. So, Conor, thank you very much for joining us today on what is undoubtedly a very busy day. Now that there's nothing to do all day. So, if you would mind, just introduce yourself, tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you've been doing and how long you've been swimming for, that sort of stuff would be great.
So my name is Conor Ferguson. I'm 20 years old, live in Jordanstown. And I've been swimming since 8 years old, 9 years old, something like that. Swim for Lawrence Swimming Club, coached obviously by Peter. We train in Belfast, and I also work with Steve McQuillan out of CrossFit Classroom for my gym, and I work with Julianne for my nutrition and Stuart Holmes for my physio. So that's sort of my setup at the minute.
So you've been swimming since you were 8. Did you start in Larne, or did you swim somewhere else first? Or
we started in Tapplemore, same as Danielle, the teammate of mine, and a few other swimmers in Ulster. Jack McMillan also swam with us. A few others. Jamie Nichols might be a known name as well. And yeah, we all sort of came from the same sort of club, and when we were really young, and we trained on our Fiona Hillier, who I think is
she's
on now, which is great. And it was very, like, from what I remember, it was very quite intense as like a young being like a young age, and but it was fun. That's when I sort of fell in love with the sport. I really loved competing, and I think it was the whole the race mentality that probably made me who I am today. And I went on to Larne, I was saying 2011 maybe, 2010. I trained with Danielle, also moved over, and I was quite young. And I started with, I think it was Raymond and Dave Strong for a few years, and then whenever you came in, you pretty much started over.
Yeah.
And, pretty much. And then I did pretty well. Like, I think
it was about 2014 I started in Larne, something like that.
Yeah. And it was just PBs and PBs. Then you came in 2014. We went to Canada.
Right.
What was it? Winnipeg, was it?
Winnipeg, yeah. I think you just missed out on Commonwealth that year.
That's right. I broke my ankle. That's right.
And we went with a team of, was it 12 or 13 people went away?
Yeah, it was madness. You probably remember the car journeys and all of us when we were young, and it was great. It was really, really good, and it was just a bunch of young guys, and most of them all are doing really well today. Robbie Powell and
Jerry Quinn.
Yeah, Jerry Quinn, and Mona as well. She was over there, and yeah, it was great. It really just opened my eyes up as a first sort of leaving the country, big competition. Even though it was probably...
Wasn't it? Because they had 2 pools in the heats in the morning. They ran 2 pools. One pool and boys in the other pool. And it was just non-stop. It was just...
No, it was mayhem. There was no call room or anything, and I was just trying to deal with different... I think it was like my first time ever dealing with anything that I'm not used to dealing with. Like in Ireland, we were just sort of...
You've been standing behind the block, and if you didn't get the whistle, you just didn't go.
It was crazy, yeah, and it was just...
Make sure you were in the right heat, in the right lane. Yeah, it was an eye-opener. And I was in Baku, when you were in Tbilisi, I was in Baku.
Yeah.
It was meant to be Lars was supposed to be going with you to Singapore, but he broke his ankle. And I got a phone call. Louise phoned me in Baku, and Pierce and I were sharing a room, and I laughed and said, I've just got a phone call that I'm heading to Singapore as soon as I get back. And I hadn't got the phone call, I was just winding her up, and she hit the roof. And then when we got home, I actually got a phone call telling me I was going to sing it. And she went nuts. So she said, I thought you told me you were only winding me up. And I says, well, when I talked to you, I was only winding you up. But the reality, now I'm actually going to sing it for her. That was an insane Me Too. I mean, I think
that was crazy. That was a real eye opener. I think on a world stage, like how serious the sport is, and like how well I can do and what I'm capable of doing if I put my mind into it and if I train and work hard. Because for me, I was 15. Sorry.
You were a couple of semi-finals, isn't that right?
Semi-finals, yeah. I think I got 11th, 12th, and 13th. I'm not sure what events.
No, it was the 3 backstroke events, but I don't know what order. No idea.
I'm not sure. I can't remember. But I was
Michael Andrew in the 50 and 100 back.
Yeah, he was insane. Like I was 15. I think he was also 15 at the time, and I remember like the big names. Like I was watching when I was 15. I think it was an under 18 competition. So you're talking to the likes of Anton Chupkov, who's now a world record holder in the breaststroke. You got Michael Andrews, obviously, phenomenal athlete, just all around every event.
Race.
Cal Chalmers, forget it as well, Olympic champion. You know, and it's just watching them guys at such a young age, like doing so well at the World Juniors, was just an inspiration to me. Like it just made me want to be like them, and it was just fantastic. It was all around just really good. I think I just really enjoyed that. Made it probably still to this day one of the most enjoyable meets I've been to.
Nice when your summers are long for good reasons, you know, because you're being successful and you're on teams and you're racing all summer. 2016 was a bit of an odd year. My recollection on it is a little bit bittersweet.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's many secrets. Like, you know, I think when we came to trials, your 100 backstroke was a bit of a surprise. You were incredibly quick in the heats, and just missed out by 0.05 or something.
Yeah, I just wanted to prove a point, and I can admit that I didn't 100% believe that I could do it, but I knew that I was capable of getting close to the time, because at the time, I think the FINA A time at the time was 54.36, and my time was 55.6, so I had a big drop to do, nearly a second and a bit, I
know that I think, I mean, obviously the difficulty then coming off the back of I'm going to say disappointing, because from your point of view, obviously the not qualifying was disappointing. From my point of view as a coach, you swam a lifetime best swim. You know, I mean, the reaction time, if memory serves me right, the reaction time in the heats was 0.4 and the reaction time in the final was 0.65. And if the reaction time in the final had been the same as the heats, you know, so the swim in my head was quick enough. It was just that little bit of probably nerves on the start, more than anything. But then I think the difficulty then for both of us was probably the refocus from that April trials, when the focus then definitely switched to Hodness of Vasley.
I think my head, so when I missed the time, I was like, I think I was just disappointed just I missed the time. Like I couldn't get over the fact of how short a block it was, and I actually remember that night, and I tell a load of people this, going home and going on my stopwatch and trying to hit the 0.05 on my stopwatch. I couldn't do it, and
a little bit of a mixed emotions around European juniors. Obviously I got to go as part of the team with Brian Sweeney, and you and Danielle were both on the team, and I think it was it your first European juniors? And it was her
my first European juniors. Yeah, I was.
Girls and boys were out of sync at the time, so it was her last one and your first one. And I remember the pool. We actually have been there now twice on training camps because it's a nice wee setup. But the pool, in terms of competition, not a lot of space around the deck, and we were way down at the turn end of the pool, the start end for the 50s, but the turn end for everything else. And I remember looking up in the might have been the final of the 100 backstroke, might have been the final 100 backstroke, and said to Brian, I wish Conor would step up onto that wee ledge around the pool because he looks wild short standing up there. And Brian goes, Peter is standing on that wee ledge. And I was like, oh. You know, because what do you call him? Saying the lane beside you, I've forgotten his name now.
Clement.
Clement was in the lane beside you. I mean, if you look at that backstroke final, that is world class now. If you look at that, you know, those guys are the best.
You got
in the world.
two of the guys in that final were in the final at World Championships there.
I mean, phenomenal final. And again, you managed to pick up a silver back.
Yeah.
A little bit of an error in the 50 back. We got a DQ in the semi, didn't we?
Yeah, I think it was just
again
so
to get after him a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, push that first 15. I think we just went past the 15.
Yeah.
And then the mixed emotion for me is that my personal feeling, I mean, you know this yourself, my personal feeling is that you're a 200 backstroker who likes to do the one. With your stature and stuff. And then I know that the 200 back was before the semi of the 50 back, so there was in my head there was a little bit of just holding back too much on that 200 backstroke and kind of bailing on it a little bit, focus on the 50, which is understandable, you know, because you were in the semi and you wanted to get a medal in and be in against them again, and then I think we'll fast forward. So I mean, after that summer, you made a big shift in your entire life, really. Just a couple of minutes, you can tell us about how life was over in Ellesmere.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was completely different. It was, so I started in 2017 in Ellesmere with Alan Bircher, the coach, and it was just different, like something I'm not used to, living away from home for the first time, and not fully living away because the food was still looked after. I still had a house mother kicking my butt every day, and so I wasn't fully independent, but at the same time I still had to take some sort of responsibility. I think it was sort of preparing me for the next part to be fully independent. It was completely different to the training that we did doing Larne. It was high meters, like pushing sometimes 70k weeks and 60-70k weeks, and it was tough, and it took me a wee while to sort of adapt to the training. I responded quite quickly. I think it took me like a month or two to start to really push it on, and I had a really good group of guys around me, and I'm still friendly with some of them today. And yeah, it was.
Freya was in the program there, wasn't she? I mean, everybody should know Freya Anderson's name. She was part of that group as well. So again, an opportunity to swim with people who have become just world class.
Yeah, went to World Juniors that year to repeat what we did in Singapore. So this is my year being the oldest age group. So this is my best opportunity. I managed to pick up a silver medal. I came second to Hugo Gonzalez, the Spanish backstroker, which at the time I was disappointed with, because I was going in first at the end of the final. Clement actually pulled out. He had a massive summer, I think. I can't remember the reason why I pulled out, but he had a massive summer of racing with World Championships. Again, I forgot to mention that was my first World Championships. Again, amazing experience, and we flew in untapered. Just pretty much, I actually flew in for one day before, swam my 200 backstroke, and then left that evening. And it was good. I think it came 20th. It was 1:59.2 or something I went, which is still my fastest backstroke. It's not my PB, but it's my last time that I broke the minute, because I think the next 2 years after Ellesmere I didn't really improve.
mean, I would call it. I want to be as diplomatic as humanly possible, and I know that the next 2 years just in Dublin were tough.
For lots of different reasons, yeah. It wasn't just swimming. It was so much.
It was being completely independent for the first time as well, responsible pretty much for every aspect of your own life. And that definitely in that first year, from the outside looking in, obviously, an abundance of free time, where there was very little to do, which can't have been easy just to fill your days. And it made it a little bit harder by, again, from the outside looking in, so someone who had a vested interest previously and just a general interest to keep an eye on how things were progressing. I do it for everybody that I've coached in the past, and I still actually watch and see how Morgan does it. It pains me that he swims breaststroke with another free. But when the PBs just weren't just as easy to come by, is probably the most diplomatic way to put it. It was increasingly obvious to me from outside that maybe you just weren't as happy as you could have been.
Well, that's all I'll say. But it was disappointing. I think it was more than disappointing. It was just, it didn't go in the World Championships. It was the first time I was at a competition that I didn't want to be there. Put it that way. I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be around it. I didn't believe I was good enough to be there. At the time, I thought that was me. I thought it was because I thought it was to do with me. I thought I just didn't believe in myself anymore, and like it was a period for 2 years I just didn't improve. I just didn't get any better. I think my 50 did get better, and my 100 backstroke was like 200ths of a second PB or something. So I just consistently stayed the same time and have been going the same time since. It's unfortunate because I feel like if it was a week ago and we're having this right now, I'd be on a plane to Tokyo pretty soon. But even just saying that just goes to show like how much now I believe in myself, and I don't think it was myself that I didn't believe in it. It was just so much, and it was just so much pressure and stress that came from different areas in my life at the time, and it was just a bubble I just needed to get out of.
In the first I sort of knew about that was when you sent me a message, I think, or sent me a wee text message on Twitter, a direct message on Twitter or something, and asked to meet up for a bit of a chat. And I'm pretty sure that most people would be surprised to hear whenever you said about you want to come back to Larne, that I kind of made you wait for 2 weeks. You know, that everybody, whenever I say to people, they just go like, "No, of course you did, yeah, sure you did." Just make you wait 2 weeks because things in Larne had changed in that 3 years, and we had moved on. The people who used to be there had gone, and we had spent 3 years trying to develop the Team Larne sort of ethos, and that nobody's more important than the team, and that everybody supports everybody else, and that everybody's kind of got everybody's back. And I have, and it's not just because it's you, it's the same for everybody. Whenever someone asks to join the program, everybody goes through the same process. I sit down, we have a conversation, and I try to decide if this person's going to fit with what we want to do, and that team dynamic. Even though it's an individual sport, I think that, I mean, you've been there now for 6 or 7 months, and while they're not all superstars, everybody gets in and everybody works and everybody supports everybody else, and the camaraderie around it is it's probably the thing that I'm most pleased with in the club. And like you said, I think that we've spent 4 months. We went the European short course together, and you were a different, outwardly again, you were a different athlete. You were smiling, you looked like you were enjoying yourself, you looked like you had a good time. You had
So it was the first competition that in a while that I was like really happy to be there, really happy to be a part of it. I wanted to engage in the media. I wanted to watch swimmers. I started to be inspired by bigger swimmers again. And being a part of Lauren has made me realize like there's so much more than like swimming, and guys actually look up to me, and watching like the boys have been brilliant. Like I'm taking them for a session, a circuit training session at 3 o'clock today, to try and get them going and stuff. But it's like having them guys believe in me started to make me believe in myself, that I'm actually a role model to them, and how I conduct myself every day in training. They're watching me.
Yeah.
And then I started to think to myself, you know, like I'm going to Europeans and I'm watching these big guys, and it's the same thing. Like I'm pretty much in their shoes, looking up at myself, or I'm looking up to that, if you get me. So you know what I mean. So no, I really enjoyed it, and it's the first time for a long time that I enjoyed racing again. I enjoyed stepping up. And PBing again, it was just great. It was just great to PB, haven't PB'd in a while, like especially big drops like we were dropping. And
yeah, it's good. So it was very good. I mean, and then obviously the disappointment of not being able to race trials, and I spoke to Danielle obviously last week around just certainty is the wrong word to use, but as certain as I can possibly be. I'm reasonably certain that last week, if we'd had the perfect week, the Wednesday you would have qualified for the 200 back, the Thursday you'd have qualified for the 50 free, the Friday you'd have qualified in the 100 back, the Saturday you'd have qualified on the 100 back, and the Sunday you'd have qualified on the 100 for, or the 50 free, whatever it is. Those 4 days. As a little provincial club, I mean, let's be honest, we're a small team. We're not a big club. To have two people that close, and then for us just not to see the final results. I mean, some of the work what you've been doing has been absolutely first rate. You know, it's been class.
Oh, incredible! Like it's not even the pull work. The pull work has been like perfect, but it's not even the pull work. It's the stuff with Julianne that we've taken in, and with nutrition, and how specific it is for me, for my event, for my stroke, for my training. I've never had something so specific for my nutrition. I've never. And the gym as well. The gym has just been, again, the one thing that that haunts me is my injuries and my shoulder injuries. I haven't got injured this year. My shoulders are bulletproof from Steve McQuillan training me 3 times a week in Castrum. I've put on so much more muscle. I've lost fat. My strength has just went like through the window. Like I haven't put on, like, if you look at my PBs in the gym for 3 years, they were just sort of staying the same. But this year's just taken off, and I'm PBing by like 20 kg in some like I started benching this year, for example, right? And I did my 1 rep max was crap. Like it was like 65 kg in September, and I just got my barbell yesterday, and I did a bench press, and I literally haven't benched in ages, and I got an 85 kg.
I'm hoping to get Julianne on here for a little conversation, because the work that she does, obviously, we don't see. But her knowledge is fantastic. And she works with yourself and Danielle and all the other athletes she works with. But to tailor your programs to allow you to build strength. I think one of the things that you were worried about in your initial conversations with her was that your protein content she dropped considerably. Protein out of your diet, and you were like, well, how is that going to happen? How's that going to work? But we had a small conversation where I was like, look, I'm not the expert, but my expert tells me just listen to the expert, just what she tells you, and see how it goes. And she's fantastic at it. Listen, I'm very aware that this has gone on now to 40 odd minutes. I'm going to have to cut it down to 15. So yes, thank you very much. I'm going to let you go. We've got a core session to take us off there, and have you?